Hello there everybody, Sabana92 aka Nightmare. As I'm sure you can tell by the sound of my voice, I'm a little bit under the weather. I've kind of had a sore throat for the past couple of days. At the moment, I'm feeling a little bit better, but I figured I would go ahead and record at least a little bit of this, so that way I can kind of give you guys a little bit of a health update, see what's going on. I will apologize if this video is a little bit shorter than it usually is, but I'm already hopped up on a bunch of medication. I'm already noticing that I am starting to feel at least a tiny bit better. So I figured I'm going to give this a little bit of a try. I won't push my luck, which I'm pretty sure will be told by the length of the video, where it's not our usual length. I will apologize for that. Now, first things first. Last week was a nightmare. Last week was agonizing. From Keith torturing Meishu, and Meiju being tortured himself because he couldn't reach out and save her, as well as Alan, and Richard the outright horrific betrayal toward Oliver. Oliver was done dirty and gunned down unceremoniously. That was arguably one of the hardest things to... It's proper to say that the entirety so far of this entire season has been increasingly difficult to push through, as those characters that I have grown to love and care about die one by one. It started with Stella, and then Yuji, and now even Meishu and Oliver. It's not gonna get any easier, I just know that much. On a positive, though, if you can really make anything positive out of what the hell happened, Meiju and the young lord were safe, and the discussion between Meiju and Alan was incredibly powerful. Meiju openly admitting that he wanted to welcome Alan in as a member of the family, and then just hitting that 1-2 combo with Alan saying that they were already family. Everything about that was emotionally impactful, and just everything about that just hurt me, but it was so beautiful in a way. Oh, by the way, if you hear pauses, I'm actually taking a drink out of this blue herbal tea that I started drinking. It's actually quite nice. It's probably the most soothing kind of tea that I've had. I think it was blue mint. I don't know, it uses like actual like little chopped up green herbs and all that just to kind of, that you brew it together. It's actually quite good. If I find the actual brand, I'll post that in the comment section down below. But anyway, we have somewhere important to be right. Meishu was lying in a Western-style casket covered with beautiful flowers. They wanted her corpse to lie in an ancestral gravesite in China. Alan-kun, I want you to go to China with my sister on the airplane tomorrow. Normally, I would want to go too. However, City 23 is in a critical situation now. I cannot leave this city. So, please, take care of my sister. Are you sure? Leaving Yuki-chan to me like this? I believe Meishu would be happier to be mourned by her husband, rather than her brother. That is one of... just piling it on there, that Meiju has openly accepted Alan as a member of his family. Even if we've lost Meishu, this is still like some sliver of happiness within a very bleak world. I have already told those on the other end that you are my family and my sister's husband. Thank you. You are sincerely a good man, Meiju. You will want for nothing. You need not worry about anything. Meiju knew how Alan felt. Though he was doing it to bury Meishu's body, he would have to leave Japan in just one day. To Alan, it probably felt like abandoning everything and running away. Meishu's death, and the deep-rooted discord with Keith, the one who killed her. However, because he was Keith's partner, he could understand his sadness and pain. If I hadn't fallen in that gunfight, if I hadn't slept for several days, I could have been by Keith's side. And Keith probably wouldn't have made the mistake he did. In fact, we might have exposed the fact that the GDS was framed, and today's incident might never have happened. Even now, shouldn't I be heading for Primavera right away? Unfortunately, that's not a bright decision. Maurice has already put in the whole idea that you betrayed Primavera. And Keith has unfortunately already got it in his head that his partner has betrayed him too. You would probably be shot on the spot if you dared step anywhere near there. To tell them that the GDS wasn't responsible for that incident? Forget about all of that. Please, leave it to me. For now, please immerse yourself in memories of my sister, and think only of staying by her side. Alan kept hanging his head, staring at the beautiful face of Meishu as she slept. However, regardless of whether he wanted to or not, he couldn't remain in Tokyo any longer. Because Primavera had put a price on Alan's head for colluding with the GDS. During the attack, Maurice had realized that Alan knew Keith was the sniper. If he let Alan run free, there was a danger that through him, it would become known that Primavera was behind the attack. Maurice had advised Richard immediately. Richard had agreed at once, and by that night, all of Primavera had been notified about the price on Alan Adamaki's head. Primavera, who wanted the attack to look like the work of a mysterious outsider, couldn't afford to let Alan live. God damn it! Primavera claimed that an unknown group was behind this attack. However, because it couldn't deny the possibility that the GDS had been pulling the strings, they rejected the offer to fight alongside the GDS. In return, the GDS criticized Primavera, claiming that the enemy attack against the top-level meeting had been caused by flaws in Primavera's security. They announced that they would freeze all relations with Primavera until they apologized. Of course, Shilong had sensed that Primavera was behind this sniping incident. However, if he acknowledged that and the two sides became enemies, they'd just be dancing to the true mastermind's tune. After careful deliberation, Shilong put avoiding a feud as his top priority, restraining action by tightening the tension of the Cold War and trying to get control of the situation. Even Richard didn't want to stir up trouble in the wake of a failed sniper attack. Furthermore, he needed time to strengthen Primavera's fighting force if he wanted to truly enact his revenge. Though the goals of each party were different, both wanted to buy time, so they both accepted a Cold War situation. Come to think of it, Primavera and the GDS had been in a Cold War situation ever since the Soy Sauce War, but that had only been on the surface. However, this time it really was a truly Cold War. A Cold War packed with enough tension that the slightest touch might start it boiling. Of course, all that hope of improving Sino-Japanese economic relations through the Distribution Association had been erased. The only thing that tormented them was the fact that Rose's, Meishu's, and Stella's joint efforts had all crumbled to nothing. With today's sniping incident, all would be buried in darkness. Neither Primavera nor the GDS would want to broach the subject of that incident. All of the victims, starting with Meishu, had died in vain. Of course, that included Oliver, who had become a victim defending a body double. It feels like running away from this city, so I don't want to go. But even I don't know how to resolve these feelings inside me. It's about Keith Kisaragi, isn't it? He's your enemy,
The one who tormented Meishu, shaming her and killing her. If I could, I'd like to tear him to pieces by my own hands. However, I have no right to ignore you and do it myself.
Lee Meiju had regained his composure. Good. He had suppressed the demon in his heart telling him to avenge his sister, choosing instead to see the big picture with a dragon's dignity. He was Black Dragon Lee, a leading member of the GDS, and the leader of Small Rock, Chinatown. As a leader who must put aside personal grudges and protect the lifestyles of his countrymen, he had overcome the pain of the heart. Of course, that didn't mean the flames of anger and sadness had disappeared. They would still remain as a seed deep inside his heart, burning deep inside his chest, tormenting him. And Alan was the same. You asked whether I feel hatred or not? I'd have to say I do. Only I could just hate him. That'd be so much easier for my heart.
Keith Kisaragi, a pitiable man. Did he really believe he could clear away the pain of losing Stella by such means?
Honestly, if you guys can clue in that their hearts were manipulated by the true culprit, maybe then they might be able to do something.
Without your admonishment, I would probably have been the same. I would have irresponsibly thrown away my life by trying to get closer to a corpse. Or I would have become a demon of revenge, eventually making a mistake that I'd never be able to take back.
There's no way Yuki-chan would have wanted that.
True. Meishu would never have wanted that. And neither would Stella. I can't imagine that she would have wanted Richard and Keith to become demons of revenge.
And that's what's so pitiable.
And it is also the source of your reluctance. You want to talk to Keith-kun before leaving Japan, yes?
You got me.
What would you do if you met him?
Not sure. There's probably nothing I can do. Still, he might have it in him. Together, we stained the snow and crawled through the pit of death and came back alive. In a way different from Yuki-chan, in another dimension, he's my lifelong companion.
It's an emotion only the two of you can share. Then, perhaps you ought to show him after all.
Show him what? Meiju took a folded piece of paper out of his pocket and held it out. It was written in Alan's partner's handwriting. It was a letter inviting Alan to come to a certain place in the harbor district that night before dawn. Nothing else was written there. However, he could tell. Keith also didn't want this sort of farewell, like disappearing into the mists with the partner he had gone to the brink of death with. Of course, this had nothing to do with making up or licking each other's wounds.
This is a challenge to a duel. It was thrown into one of my stores.
Both of us probably need some resolution.
To be honest, I didn't want to show it to you. You have a job now, to go to China alive and mourn for Meishu.
He can't pretend like today never happened. And neither can I. I can't settle my hatred for the way he shot Yuki-chan repeatedly when she couldn't resist. Nor can I settle my memories as his partner.
If you go, one of you, or perhaps both of you, will die.
I doubt either of us has any idea how it'll end. Would they both pull out their guns, hating each other? Or would they shed tears together at this tragedy, hugging each other? Both Alan and Keith. They didn't know what they wanted to do, what they wanted to say, what they wanted to hear when they met. However, they did know just one thing.
They had to meet. If Meishu had been here, what would she say? Are you stupid? What's the point in meeting him? Can you forgive each other? Can you understand each other? What productive thing will you be able to do? You weren't born so you could hurt and be hurt by someone else. Isn't that right, Alan? Yuki-chan. This is how men settle matters between them. I'll see you later, Meiju-san. I'll make a clean break with our relationship and our past. And I'll resolve matters so I can spend the rest of my life thinking only of my memories of her. As a man, I cannot stop you. I hope that you come back here alive. Thank you, Aniki. Aww. Oh, calling him. Oh my god. Oh god, I needed that. Just as Keith met Stella and built a new family with Yuji. I met Yuki-chan and built a new family. When we were young, we mistakenly thought that being close friends was something that lasted forever. But when both friends build new families, you can grow distant unbelievably easy. Keith, it seems that time has come for us as well. Oh god, that's gonna... Ugh. And we're going right into it. The two of them just silently stared at each other, listening to the crude sound of waves hitting the wharf. Their eyes were completely dry. Of course, it wasn't because they wanted to look at each other that way. They wanted to show some emotion, but they didn't know what. They felt all emotions. Or was it a mixture of love and hate? No, perhaps it was hesitation. They might not have known why they had to face off against each other with expressions like that. Until a few days ago, they had been the best of partners. They had stuck together through joys and sorrows, living on the brink of death. They had supposedly been a couple in a way that surpassed blood ties and gender. Who could have predicted that on the day of that cursed incident, their relationship would change so much? Even God in heaven probably couldn't have predicted it, much less these two. So, their hearts are probably just as full of hesitation as they were of that mixture of love and hate. How could they face up to that emotion? Most likely, they both wanted the other to tell them. If the other howls, I'll howl. If the other cries, I'll cry. However, as they peered into the dry eyes of the other, they couldn't see any sign of either of those emotions. It's gotten cold. You're right. I can hear the sound of a blizzard. So that we could come back from that snowy plain. We became a couple on that day. You're right. You don't understand it, right? Yeah. This past week, there's been too many things I haven't understood. The two of them fell silent again. Then Alan broke out in a grin first, because both of them had realized that the other didn't feel apologetic. It had been the same for Keith. Most likely both of them had made the same rule inside their heads. If the other apologizes, I'll forgive everything. Then, they realized that neither had any intention of apologizing, and that both had come here with the same rule in their heads. If they had both been aware of that, all the silence up until now would have been broken easily. Would Stella-san have wanted you to take revenge like that? It's not just Stella's feelings. To protect the future for Yuji-kun, for the others, for our countrymen, we cannot allow the presence of foreigners. The GDS wasn't responsible for that incident. Yes, it was. How can you be so sure? I saw proof. I saw the letters detailing Lee Meiju's secret conversations. That's a forgery made by someone to deceive us. Of course, we had it carefully investigated. And as a result, well, there you have it. I can't say anything more to someone connected to the GDS, like you. I failed when I let that woman get close to you. She must have been planning to get you on their side from the beginning. Don't insult Yuki-chan. I was hampered by our trust, our unwillingness to intrude on each other's personal lives. Yes, it was my failure as a member of the couple we were. I should have tried hard to learn what sort of woman you were going out with. If I did that, I'd have figured out that she was Lee Meiju's sister, a trap to win you over with. I told you to stop saying that! When Alan's tone grew stronger, Keith swallowed his words. Let's stop this. This meaningless exchange of words. You executed Yuki-chan right in front of Meiju-san and me. A woman who was defenseless and had committed no crime, and you executed her brutally to settle a personal grudge. If you had apologized first, I was going to forgive you. But it looks like that's no good. Looks like I won't be able to forgive you. I'm the one who can't forgive you. You betrayed me and Primavera. Even though we swore to fight for the future of our countrymen when we entered Primavera, you betrayed that oath. That's right. You knew that incident was going to occur. There was that fake attack against Lee Meiju set up so the GDS wouldn't be suspected. You were involved in that, helping the GDS support its false claims that they were victims too. You knew, Alan. On that day, you knew Stella and Yuji-kun would be killed. Stop it. You pretended you were excited to go on a date with Yuki-chan, but you were really sneering at me. You sneered at me as I left unknowing that Stella and Yuji-kun would die that day. Stop it. If you just told me Stella and Yuji-kun wouldn't have died. It's just as though you killed them. You did kill them. So it's only natural that I killed Meishu back. Retributive justice. A just revenge. That's enough, Kisaragi. At some point, a completely emotionless smile had risen to Alan's face. Keith was the only person in the world who knew what it meant when Alan looked at you like that. So Keith tried to put on the same smile, but couldn't. So he let his emotions show on his face and returned a hate-filled gaze. I can see that neither of us can forgive the other. Even so, it was worth it for us to come alone to this wharf so late at night. I can't forgive you! I feel the same. You killed Stella! And you killed Yuki-chan. Until a short while ago, they had been standing side by side. At some point, as though a metaphor for their hearts, they had moved 10 meters away from each other and were facing off. Both already knew why they were standing at that distance. And by now, neither could disobey by their own will. They couldn't disobey unless the other folded. And so it was inevitable. They confronted their unavoidable fate. Go apologize to Stella and Yuji-kun. You're the one who needs to apologize to Stella-san. If you do, I'll let you be my old partner again. You aren't my partner anymore! We should have died on that day on that snowy plain. See? Here comes the sound of the blizzard.
pure white snowy plain. A forest of frozen conifer trees. We had huddled together, waiting for the blizzard to pass. We hugged each other, feeling only the warmth from the other, as the world was covered in snow. And when we survived the blizzard and gazed up at the sun through the clouds, we laughed together, enjoying the simple fact that we were alive. It's all been an illusion, seen on the brink of freezing to death. Even now, we're still there in the snow. That's right. This is all a brief illusion we're seeing as we die buried in the snow. Wouldn't it be wonderful if that were true? Then, even this would be an illusion. There's no other way. We'd end up trying to kill each other. Alan. I'm sure we'll wake up. Either I'll wake you up, or you'll wake me up. Alan! Damn it, I don't like this. And of course I picked the Meishu card, it's very fitting. I don't like this. Oh, now I'm in his perspective? Shit, I didn't see that coming. Ironically, it's fitting. I want the best for both of them. But circumstances have basically just driven them apart. It's an incredibly unfair situation. Destroy everything. This isn't fair. This just is not fair. Resorting to your fists? They have resorted to close combat now. Better than bullets. Although, Keith, you're going up against a brawler, but then again, you guys have been together for a very long time, so it makes sense that you would also know all of his weaknesses and all of his specialties, so... This music is really good. God damn, is it emotional as hell. Having you swap between blue and red so effectively. Ugh. Ow. Ow. As Keith crouched down, blood started seeping from his side. At first, he'd smile, trying to act tough, but before long, he couldn't bear the pain. Alan slowly rose from behind cover, slowly with his gun barrel still pointed at Keith. As Keith crouched, he rolled into a ball and finally lay on the ground. After seeing this, Alan slowly lowered his gun. Even looking at his moaning partner, Alan's expression didn't change. He still wore the same completely blank expression as when he had been shooting. After their gazes crossed for a while, Alan turned around. Wordlessly, without a second glance, for some reason, Keith's expression twisted even more than when the bullet hit him. Alan! Alan didn't turn around. Lit by the wharf lights, drenched by waves, his back disappeared into the distance. Alan! Alan. We're partners, right? Fellow partners, right? We survived that silver hell together. On that mountain of snow, we swore to each other that we'd live together. So we can't say goodbye like this. Alan! 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 Well, I'm not gonna lie, that's certainly one way to play out the opening theme, am I right? Huh. Nice. That was hard to sit through, and I think this is probably my limit. I was trying to hold it back, but I'm pretty sure some people would kind of notice that I was starting to crack up a little bit there. But, okay. They settled their duel from the way it seems, and Alan just left Keith there, without even so much as a word. It's painfully tragic. It's just goddamn pain. Their friendship just gone. Damn, that just hurts. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end it, so if you all like this, be sure to let me know. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will apologize again for, well, how I'm sounding right now. And I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on that. Well, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to tell, but... I have like 2 videos that are already recorded that I took before this happened. So if you suddenly see like a Demon Souls or a Code Vein video pop up where I sound totally fine, that would explain it. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I feel like that was... I probably should have added that on. Well, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see all of you guys in the next video.